Hey loves, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I am back with another bomb live. If you are new to my channel, I am a self-love coach who specializes in helping people radically transform their lives through one-on-one coaching. I did it myself at the beginning of the year. I was miserable. I decided I wanted to completely turn my life around. I developed a plan, and now I'm coming at y'all live from the beautiful country of Medellin, Colombia that I live in now. So if you're interested in this type of change and you just need a little help getting through a hump, hit me up. I got you. My coaching is only $30 an hour. You can't beat that, especially these days, baby, with the inflation. Okay. With that said, guys, we are going to talk about our girl Ashanti today. Apparently sis is expecting again, allegedly, but it was allegedly last time. What up, B Nelly? Glad to see you here, brother. Y'all, I know I'm on late. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. Y'all almost didn't get me today, but I said, it is Friday. I'm going to finish the week out strong. Because I was up late working last night. Y'all know I work for a company all the way in China. So the time difference is huge. So I have to get up like at 2:30 in the morning to work. So I've been up for a long time and I didn't sleep that long. But I said, that's okay. I'm gonna come over here on here, do this live, and then I'm going to take a nap immediately after. So I promise y'all I'm only gonna be on here for like an hour today. I promise y'all. Yeah, oh my god, my hair looks so bad. My hair is kind of thick, so sometimes it look like a bad weave. It look like a bad weave. If I don't like, because I didn't flat iron it, I just blow dried it. It looked like a bad weave now. But I'm gonna light this candle for the vibes. What you up to today, D Mally? You at work still? I keep forgetting that you were like a couple hours behind me. Again, guys, if y'all are coming in, make sure that y'all hit the like button. We're gonna talk about some things that I thought were interesting, but honestly and truly, after I'm gonna like be quick about it, and then I'll let y'all pick what we talk about. It's Friday, like we're not really on no structure, so I will let y'all lead the conversation. Okay, I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes and then we will get started. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, today, guys, we're going to talk about the rise of ghetto suburbanites. Hey, Olivia. If it makes you feel better, my hair looks exactly the same. Girl, oh, it look a mess. It look a mess. And I tried combing it down, girl. It look a mess. I said, this look like somebody, I done put on somebody grandmama wig. That's what it looked like. But it's mine. I promise y'all it is. But it's, like when you have thick hair, it can kind of look old fogey. I don't know how to explain it. I need to press this out, baby, because no. Okay, we're gonna talk about the rise of these ghetto spoiled kids that come from the suburbs, but they wreaking havoc and terror on everybody. And the face of this is none other than Mr. King Harris. Come to the front of the classroom. Do y'all know how many King Harrises that I taught in DeSoto, Texas? Okay, and for those of y'all who are not from Dallas, DeSoto is a southern suburb. Okay, suburb, heavy on the suburb, heavy on big houses, heavy on brand new houses, heavy on ain't no Rosemonts there. If you know, you know. Okay, everywhere where it's ghetto, they got a Rosemont. Like for example, Lancaster is ghetto now, but there's no Rosemonts, there's no projects. These people's parents are college educated and have money, but yet I was dealing with King Harris's on a regular basis. So This is from on site on Instagram. It says King Harris, son of T.I. and Tiny, arrested in Dunwoody for failure to appear in court. Somebody's they wrong for this. They said Tariq St. Patrick, King Harris, the 19-year-old father to be, somebody let this boy shoot up the club, was arrested earlier this weekend in Dunwoody, Georgia. According to jail records, there was a warrant out for Harris's arrest in Pickens County for failure to appear in court. The charges stem from an incident in August 2022 where Harris was cited for speeding, knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended license, and allegedly driving under the influence of drugs. Okay, your daddy got too much money for you to be driving with the suspended license, for you to be not paying off tickets, all this stuff. Okay. The arrest occurred when Harris pulled out in front of a Dunwoody police officer's cruiser as they were coming out of a gas station, nearly causing a collision. Harris was taken into custody and is currently facing multiple charges. This is what happens when you leave the hood, but you don't leave your hood mentality. And that's what I said about a lot of these parents these days. They be the worst ones trying to prove a point. Yeah, because y'all got to understand, like, especially in like a suburb like DeSoto, I'm pretty sure this is true of a lot of suburbs in Dallas. You have a lot of new money. See, there's older money, older black money that's been there for a long time in Atlanta, right? But then you got that new money. You got kids who are growing up with parents who are like literally one generation out of the hood. So it's like if your parents grew up in Oak Cliff and they was doing all this hood-ish, they just happened to catch a break and go to college and work their way to the suburbs. A lot of the times these parents are still acting like they are in the hood, and the kids feel like they want to prove something. A lot of the times, like I had a few students who they mamas and them was scammers. That's the only reason why they could afford to stay in that neighborhood. I had a kid who every time we would play games and he would choose his name on the game board, his name was, and I quote, "I love fraud." Okay, I had so many kids that got banned off of Cash App because they were on there committing fraud. His dad is going to bail him out. I hope he does, because this is also T.I. and Tiny's fault. Like, y'all remember all those allegations coming about, hey, they were doing the Diddy stuff too. Allegedly, they was drugging women and doing all that too. But remember T.I. got arrested because he had pills and all that. So, this is the lifestyle that his father lived, even though they were living in the suburbs, even though they had money. So these kids definitely feel like they have something to prove. And unfortunately, they're wreaking havoc on society, because it's like, not only are you not street and trying too hard to be street, you're dumb because you don't have street sense. Like, you don't have common sense. You doing stuff like pulling out in front of the police, and you already high and just doing dumb stuff, right? And I just remember like my kids, they used to always be at school committing crimes, telling on each other. Oh, y'all want to be hard, but y'all telling on each other, talking too loud, posting stuff on social media. I said, baby, y'all better not ever do no federal crime, because y'all going to jail. Okay, straight up. But yes, this new batch of suburban kids that want to be hood it's out of control. It's ghetto. It's part of the reason why I chose to leave the United States. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all, because I was like, there's nowhere we can run to anymore. Like, all these kids are bad. It doesn't matter if you move to Plano. It doesn't matter if you move to Allen. It doesn't, and these are like whiter suburbs. Like, it don't matter if you move to DeSoto, Cedar Hill. Think of your city and all of its outlying suburbs. That ain't even safe anymore, because your kids got to go to school with other kids who want to be ratchet. So the youth is really just lost. Hey, skinny boy, good to see you here, brother. And good to see you too, Carlos. Okay. So I'm gonna get off of him. Now, did y'all hear about our girl Ashanti? Y'all let me know. Did y'all hear about Ashanti? Allegedly, her and Nelly are having another baby. Allegedly, this is on media takeout. But sometimes they do come out and report it first. So we shall see. Okay, let me make sure y'all can see the screen. And now I don't know how this is gonna work because me being at me being 31 years old, I could not imagine my body birthing a baby. Now she done just had one. I can't imagine birthing two. All right, so it says R&B singer Ashanti is pregnant again. Media takeout confirmed. Ashanti and Nelly welcome a baby boy this past July, and they already had a sibling for the little man cooking in Ashanti's belly. Woo, do y'all believe this? Do y'all believe this? I'll say congratulations. If it is true, congratulations. Uh, Nelly and Ashanti have been dealing with each other for years now. Now, personally, I feel like Nelly and Ashanti shouldn't have got back together. I feel like Ashanti shouldn't have got back with Nelly. It's always a come up to get back with Ashanti. But I feel like Ashanti shouldn't have got back with Nelly because I feel like he just did too much, right? During their last breakup, he went, got with the other girl, Miss Jackson, beautiful girl. She allowed him to string her along for 7 years. Then, like close after they broke up, y'all remember that video came out where he was getting his thing, choked on by this other woman, right? And then him and Chantel were still kind of talking and dealing with each other. And then out of nowhere, him and Nelly popped back out. Him and Ashanti popped back out together. So I just kind of feel like Nelly childish. Like, I don't feel like he's grown. Y'all remember he just got arrested because he was driving without insurance. And then on top of that, he had exos on him. I feel like he kind of immature. But I mean, if she like it, I love it. I personally couldn't imagine having two kids back to back in my 40s. But this is probably a situation where Ashanti been wanting to get back with Nelly. This is her opportunity. They're engaged to be married, and she probably wants to have all her kids by the same dad. So, I mean, I guess it's the right time. I will say that. I mean, she's accomplished everything that she's going to accomplish in her career. And not that she can't grow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like she has a legacy. So, I'm gonna say congratulations to the two. I hope they make it work. I hope Nelly stays out of jail. I hope Nelly ain't on one of them Diddy tapes. Okay. I know everybody in the industry is like holding their breath now, trying to see if their name is going to be brought into this. Like, I can only imagine how many people are just stressed out right now. So hopefully Nelly wasn't involved in none of that. He too fine to be caught up in that. But with that said, that might be the reason why he waited so long to settle down with a woman. A lot of the times I feel like these men who take forever, yes, girl, they walking on pure eggshells. Not the Diddy tapes now. I mean, like, come on now. Like, we gonna play like Nelly ain't never been in the same spaces as Diddy. Come on now. And a lot of times I feel like these men that take forever to just sit down with one woman, especially when they have good women, right? Because I mean, Nelly would have won if he would have stayed with Chantel too. He could have went either way with that. Both of them were good women, and they just wait so long. I feel like it's because deep down in their heart, they know they like that Peter Wacker. They know they like that schlong. They know, and I feel like a part of them knows that it's wrong to just go ahead and marry a woman, knowing that in their heart they truly desire other things, multiple things, so I don't know. That's how I be feeling about it. After a while, it looks weird to me. Okay. And yeah, I do know it's some men that just genuinely want to be single, but I mean, come on now. At a certain age, it's like, yeah, you got some other issues going on. All right. I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to turn the topic of conversation back over to y'all. Give me 1 second. It's really was nothing too much going on today, y'all. Oh, did y'all see this? Did y'all see this? So, y'all know Fat Joe, right? I ain't the only old head in here, am I? I love Fat Joe. He is my favorite Puerto Rican. I love Puerto Rican people. Like, I really, really do. I feel like Puerto Rican people and black people, like, we cousins. Like, and I know that there are Afro Puerto Ricans and a lot of them are mixed with black and Taino, but I'm saying like culturally, because we do have different cultures. Although I would argue that, the black people and Puerto Rican people that live in New York have more similar cultures than like a black person in New York would have with a black person that lives in Texas. Am I making sense? Like New York is a culture in itself. Okay. But I love Puerto Ricans. Y'all, I went to Puerto Rico in June. So I went to St. Thomas first for my birthday. Then the next week I went to Puerto Rico. And like when I tell you, I'm like, I understand why we get along so well, because it's like kind of like, they have that Latin vibe, right? But then it's so deeply rooted in things that are very similar to African American culture, like the way Puerto Rican people season their food. Oh my God, it's like you at your granny house. Do you hear me? Like Puerto Rican people really be cooking. I love Puerto Rican people, and Fat Joe is definitely my favorite Puerto Rican. Period. I love him. Um, I love him because like we ain't never really just seen him on no weird stuff. He's so unproblematic and out the way. You don't really see him beefing with nobody. Hold on. Let me see what you had to say. Did you hear about the wildfire in Wyoming? No, I did not. We can talk about it. I'll put a pin in that. Yes, girl, I love Puerto Rico. It's good for the soul. Now you can get big over there because the food is just too good. It's crazy because, like, I remember when I got off the airplane, I was asking people, like, well, where's the good food? Where should I eat? And the Puerto Rican people were like, just go inside somewhere and eat. And I'm like, everywhere can't be good now. Everywhere is good. Like, they don't have to give you recommendations. Just go inside a restaurant and it's gonna bust, period. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. Now, I did not know until recently that Fat Joe had a child with Down syndrome. Give me 1 second. So, Fat Joe has a child with Down syndrome, but apparently the mother abandoned Fat Joe and the child when the kid was born. So we're gonna listen to this. As a mother, this is kind of heart wrenching because I couldn't imagine, right?
To kick and watch, she abandoned a kid. Yeah. And so we raised him by ourselves. He don't know no other family. He don't know. It's not because we didn't allow that. His mom's just, is crazy. She has never seen him again. And and it wasn't like I kept the door closed where she can't see her son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was always available for her to see her son. But we got wicked people out there, whether man or female. It's usually the other way around. Baby come out Down syndrome, the man run away. Shame on you. Father's got to be a father. I don't know how to be a fake father. I don't know how to be a fake father. So I got to take care of my kids regardless and do everything I can for them. I don't know how to give up on my kids. I don't know how to not love on my kids. That's impossible. And he's had his challenges, but you see, my son, I don't know if all kids that are autistic or on the spectrum, this guy's happy. I swear to God.
You know what? I've noticed that with a lot of special needs people, because they're not necessarily worried about the same superficial things that we're worried about. I think they kind of see things a little bit differently than us. So they don't have the same stress as us. They don't carry the same load as we do. And that's not all. You have some special needs people who are very much aware that other people look at them and are judging them or see them differently. But then you have those who are just completely oblivious and they experience life differently. And they're so much more happy than people who are walking around with all of their faculties about them.
He's always happy. He's never sad. He's like, if you're stuck in a place, he's stuck in happiness. And he's never slept 1 minute of his life without somebody sitting there just looking at him. He doesn't sleep without one person, without someone sitting there looking at him like this his whole life. And he's happy. He does what he wants. He gets what he wants. He's the Don when we all meet as family. I got another son. I got my daughter that's younger than him, and he sits in the end of the table. He knows, oh, those are my little brothers and sisters. I'm the Don.
Right.
And so, yeah, everybody has big challenges. It's hard, but you can't give up on your kids. And we believe, one of my best friends, Rich, that he's our biggest blessing because we treat him the way we do, because we never gave up on him. This is why we get blessed. And so I really wholeheartedly believe that. He's born, the doctor tells us, hey, I got bad news to tell you. He show us his hands. It's where he said he got Down syndrome. He's going to be a big challenge. I'm there with my mother, my father, and his mother. And his mother was like, yo, I can't do this. I'm going to have to give him up for adoption. And my mother was like, you crazy? Like, you ain't giving up and so we raised him. I never seen his mother again, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Dang.
So she
was born. Yeah, she never visited him again. I'm not here to kick her while, she abandoned a kid. Yeah. And so we raised him by ourselves. He don't know no other family. He don't know. It's not because we didn't allow that.
Wow. That is really sad. It's really sad, right? Because as a mother, I couldn't imagine. And then it's like you got your whole baby daddy's family around, and you're like, I'm gonna have to give the baby up for adoption. Like, ma'am, just leave the child with his father. Like, that probably should have been your first thought rather than adoption. My best friend, baby mama, left him and their 2 kids. She wanted to be in the streets. Wow, I did not realize that this was that common. I never meet single fathers. Like, I never meet men who are raising their kids and the mom left and decided she wanted to do her. That's so sad. Being a parent is already hard. To be a parent to a child with special needs really says a lot about a person's character. And you know what? I ain't never seen Fat Joe in no mess. Like, even you ain't never heard about Fat Joe cheating on his wife or none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, well, it's because he big, but Fat Joe is handsome. Like, not just that. If y'all don't know about the Hispanic community, like especially in Texas, all the big dudes with money got several women. Okay. Like, Hispanic women do not care about none of that. And that ain't just Hispanic women. A lot of the times, any type of woman from any type of race, if a dude has enough money, they don't care. But Fat Joe has always been handsome in the face. He ain't never been unattractive. He just been big. So I think that's really sad. So Carlos, you said that there is a wildfire going on in Wyoming. Let me look it up. I'm gonna go on YouTube. No. Yeah, I really want to talk about that other woman. I might just bring it up. I got a video I wanted to show y'all about Kamala. I think we're gonna get into it. It's messy. Oh, it's messy. I'm trying not to make too many of my videos about her. Like, I'm not gonna put it in the thumbnail or the title because YouTube have been censoring hard. All right, so I'm watching this on the Online Citizen.
Where you can manage everything and anything related to your work, your documents,
Okay.
your chats, your whiteboards, your
A massive wildfire is raging in Wyoming's Bighorn National Forest, having spread to over 75,000 acres as of Wednesday.
Dang.
Known as the Elk Fire, it was initially ignited by lightning and now poses a serious threat to nearby communities and critical natural resources. With containment efforts currently at just 16%, over 829 firefighters and personnel are actively engaged in battling the blaze. Residents in
What do they do? Like, how do you fight a fire that big? Baby, I would have been gave up. I would have just started praying rain, okay? Doing a rain dance or something because this ain't gonna get it.
surrounding areas remain on high alert as authorities prepare for possible evacuations and establish protective measures. Early Wednesday, increased fire behavior was reported due to high winds and low humidity. At around 3 a.m. Mountain Time, gusty winds intensified the fire's activity near the Big Goose water treatment plant. Firefighters on the night shift, including a dozer crew and a hotshot crew, worked tirelessly to control the advancing flames. The U.S. Forest Service has warned that Wednesday's warmer and drier conditions could lead to even more active fire behavior. Numerous aircraft are assigned, conducting water and retardant drops to slow the fire's spread.
Yeah, that's all they're gonna be able to do right about now is slow it down. That's it. Okay, y'all. I said I wasn't gonna be messy, but I'm gonna be messy. I'm gonna be messy today. We're gonna talk about that woman today. I'm gonna show y'all something that's gonna make y'all jaw drop. Oh, this is so messy, but I gotta do it. I got to do it. Give me 1 second. Y'all stay on. I promise y'all. If y'all just now coming in, hit the like. Y'all, this finna be good and messy. Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, this is Messy Friday. Oh, we gonna get it. This is gonna be real messy. Oh my God. Not messy, Mariah. Oh my God. Y'all jaw is gonna drop. Your jaw is going to drop. It's gonna hit the floor. After y'all hear this story about Kamala. Now, this again is on the Cartier Families channel here on YouTube. So y'all make sure y'all support them when y'all can.
I intend to fight for Black Lives Matters. I intend to fight.
If Black Lives matter to her, why didn't I matter?
I don't agree what my Kamala Harris did to my mom. And I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
My message to all Americans, especially Black Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
I'm so proud of you right now because you walked all the way down here and I wasn't expecting you to walk.
I feel like they held on to this specifically for this stretch in the election. Like, because I don't see how you come back from this one if everybody watches it.
My daughter, Shayla, suffers from sickle cell anemia, a chronic, painful genetic disease.
As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick.
It's a very sharp stabbing pain and it hurts a whole lot. Like from my chest all the way down, it hurts, including my side.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
When Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General, she had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
Wow.
I spend a majority of my time here at the hospital.
Kamala's horrible policies hurt mothers like me and the Black community. My name is Sheree Peoples, and this is my story. I am a single mother. I've worked as a certified nursing assistant and a caregiver. My daughter Shayla was born in 2002. When she was born, she was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. It affects all major organs in the body and also causes extreme pain.
Dang.
Her whole life, she has been on medications like morphine and Dilaudid to help her control the pain. In addition, she had to undergo blood transfusions every 3 weeks. My lifestyle became taking care of her almost full time. It is pretty typical for kids with Shayla disability to miss a lot of school.
I just got out of school. I've done 3 full days this week.
Okay, and as somebody who has been a teacher, a kid like this would probably be on a 504 plan. Like in the state of Texas, we wouldn't even try to, but we would not punish a parent for a kid missing school and they had an illness. Just bring a doctor's note. I mean, the worst they'll have you do is like credit recovery. So as much as people like to sit up and talk about the Republican states, this is not something that you see happening in a Republican state. Like this happened in California, and y'all are going to get more and more upset the more the story continues. Like this really pissed me off, especially being a teacher and knowing that a lot of the times, yes, you do have parents who don't care if their kids miss school or let their kids stay home. But a lot of the times these kids, especially when they get teenagers, they're going to skip regardless. And these parents are just trying to go to work and feed their kids. They don't need to be sitting up in jail, losing their jobs over school attendance.
Oh, I'm so tired.
And for years, the teachers were aware of her condition and her absences were all excused.
Dang.
California schools get their state and federal funding based off of average daily attendance.
Wow.
Schools are paid about $30 per student per day.
In San Francisco, we threatened the parents of truants with prosecution.
I first heard of Kamala Harris
I'm gonna say
when
this
she
too.
got elected.
I'm gonna say this too. This is all about money. The only reason why they care about truancy so much is, and again, I know this because I used to be a teacher in the United States, right? I was just teaching. So school districts are paid per student per day, right? So that's why they say you need to be at school by a certain time, and we take attendance all at one time, right? Because that's when it counts, right? So a lot of the times, if kids aren't showing up to school, what happens is that the school district loses money, and then you get a lot of programs have to close down and things like that. A lot of teachers have to be let go from their jobs. But this is what I will say. I feel like a lot of the times that doesn't have to happen because in terms of school administration, a lot of the times they're misappropriating the money anyway. So for example, I've seen several times where a school district will lay off a whole bunch of teachers and they say it's because attendance is low, and it was low, but yet you're hiring a whole bunch of your friends and giving them ghost jobs that they don't even come to work and do, and you're paying them top dollar. So a lot of the times superintendents will clean house with teachers and lower level admin and say it's because we're trying to save money, but they're siphoning funds. They're spending funds on housing. They're misappropriating funds, creating fake bills and things like that they're so-called paying for the school. This is a real thing. And that's why I say we try to make education like this whole dim versus blue versus red thing. But to be honest, there's a lot, like the same people who will get on Twitter and beg for the Reds to pass a bill to give schools more funding are the same people who will misappropriate these funds. And that's not an irregular occurrence. That is the norm. Okay. I told y'all there was a school district in Texas. I'm not going to say the name. There was a school district in Texas during COVID. The superintendent got busted for siphoning funds and paying for a whole mansion. So it was on the news. I guess he was under investigation, but now he's a superintendent at another school district. But guess what? He just got caught. That is the norm. What happens is a lot of these superintendents hire lackeys and hire people in the finance department who are going to play ball and cover up for them and do what they say. So don't be fooled by all of this. Oh, well, we care if the kids are coming to school. It's not about that. It's about the money. Now, should kids be coming to school? Yes. But that's not why these people care about truancy.
California Attorney General.
We are putting parents on notice. We are going to make sure that you face the full force and consequences of the law.
She wrote a report saying truancy was costing California schools $1.4 billion a year in funding.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding.
I want money.
Sound like Mayor Tiffany.
Kamala then wrote a law making it criminal for parents if their kids miss school time. Kamala even wrote a book called Smart on Crime.
You can read an excerpt from the book that she just plugged shamelessly. It's called Smart on Crime.
Talking about arresting parents for truancy.
I sent a letter on my letterhead out to every parent in the public school system.
In 2012, like all California parents, I received a threatening letter from Kamala Harris saying we'll go to jail for a year if our kids even miss 10% of school days.
Wow.
It was like a crazy intimidation tactic.
I'm going to start.
A year for your kids not going to school is insane. A year of jail, mind you. This is not about true care and concern for the children, because what if there's a child and they have only one parent, right? What if they have one parent and they don't have any other family that can take them in? The child is going to go into the custody of the state, which a lot of times that's worse than actually being with your parent and not going to school and being, truant. So this is not about true care and concern for these children.
Prosecuting parents for truancy.
I thought, wow, this woman doesn't have any empathy. Is it because she's not a mother?
Exactly.
I also thought, how could she not understand it would disproportionately affect people of color, single Black mothers? But honestly, I didn't imagine it could affect me. Her teachers had her medical records from the Children's Hospital. I even had a 504 plan, which was an agreement between the school district and the parents to provide care for students with disabilities.
Oh, wow.
It was April 18th.
I don't understand how she did not sue them into oblivion, because 504 plans, that is federally protected. It's federally protected, ma'am. You cannot be punishing kids who are truant and they're on a 504 plan.
She got
2013
the paperwork.
in the morning. I'm in my pajamas. I had just fed my daughter, gave her medications, sent her off to school. Little did I know, there was a warrant out for my arrest.
Wow.
All of a sudden, the police is outside my house and they started banging on the door. I opened up my door and 2 officers entered my home. They told me I was under arrest for my child missing school. They said I was going to jail. I was shocked. I said, but my baby is sick. The school knows that. And they said, go talk to Kamala Harris. Place your hands behind your back.
My mom did nothing wrong. We did everything we were supposed to. I was always bringing doctor's notes, always calling the school to let them know that I was in the hospital.
Then they had...
And not that it even matters, but you can tell that, this is a good little girl. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying she doesn't do things other kids do, but you can tell she has this sweet aura. Y'all know what I mean when a child wasn't raised up to be ghetto and just missing school for no reason.
Handcuff me. So they take me outside for what you call a perp walk. And oh my God, the TV news was there. The newspapers were there. You could swear I had killed somebody. It was degrading and humiliating. I was taken to the Criminal Justice Center. They took my mugshot.
That's just her saying.
I was fingerprinted like a criminal. and I was terrified.
And it felt like I caused her so much pain because in reality, it is because of me, even though I know it's not directly my fault.
That's so sad.
That's sad.
Sorry.
The next day, the Orange County Register showed the pictures of my arrest. They even had a close-up picture of my hands in handcuffs to show here's a Black mother being arrested.
It was a truancy rate at over 2.5 times that of whites.
So I guess she decided she was going to make an example of somebody. This is just so unempathetic. Like, and I get it. You know, again, let's keep it 1,000. I'm a teacher. Well, I still teach. I just don't teach in school. But I get it. Like, there are some trifling parents who don't care whether or not their kids come to school. There are some trifling parents who do not encourage their children to take their education seriously. And unfortunately, that frustrates people who work for school districts because it can make it seem like that's all of the parents. But even still, you have to keep things in perspective and take things on a case-by-case scenario. And then, like I said, even if you do have a parent that's trifling, you know what? I'd rather your kid miss school, but you still be able to go to work and provide a roof over your head than for you to go to jail as a parent and the whole house gets split up. Because like Olivia said, what if the parent has other children that they have to take care of, not just this one child who is, you know, truant? What is going to happen to those kids?
Everyone knew most truant kids were Black. I think Kamala Harris wanted me as an example to threaten other single Black mothers. Like, this can happen to you if you don't get your kids in class.
Yeah.
The police even put out a press release naming me and other Black single mothers like Toya Daniels, who got arrested the same day. But my hell was just beginning. They gave me 2 charges: failure to supervise and encourage school attendance.
But you know what? Kamala Harris, she doesn't strike me as somebody who grew up poor or broke. So she probably really doesn't empathize with the plight of single Black mothers. And, you know, if you look at Kamala Harris, especially when she was younger, she was very pretty, right? And there, she's also going to spill some tea about that at the end of this. But she was very pretty, very beautiful. I'm sure she grew up privileged. She strikes me as the type that maybe grew up looking down on Black women who were single, you know, maybe feeling a way towards them. And that's why I was saying during the first election in 2020, where she was the vice president and people were like, oh, we got our first Black female vice president. And, you know, I saw the women wearing Chuck Taylor curls and, oh, she went to Howard and she's AKA and all this stuff. And I'm like, that don't mean that this woman empathizes with you, likes you, understands you, or knows anything about your culture. Because to be honest, anybody can go pledge a Black fraternity or sorority. That doesn't necessarily, there are white people who pledge Black fraternities and sororities. That doesn't necessarily mean that you like the people of that culture.
Attendance and contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Wow.
I couldn't believe they my daughter as a gang member and basically charged me with neglect.
Wow.
I spent the next 2 years in court fighting these charges. Kamala assigned her nastiest prosecutors to my case.
My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
Like 10 different prosecutors. They kept pressuring me to plead guilty and spend a...
Y'all, she gives crazy, narcissistic psychopath. Did y'all see the way she laughed about that? That should be something where, like, even if you did do that, right? Let's say you really believe that this is the correct law. When you talk about it, it should feel disappointing. Like, dang, we had to go do this. Like, it's sad that this is what we have to do. Not laughing and giggling, but that's what she always doing with her old goofy ass, laughing and giggling and thinking it's funny when it comes to other people's lives because it's not her. Just like she laughed when she asked about she got asked about smoking marijuana, knowing she had prosecuted several people for smoking marijuana.
A year in jail, but I kept refusing because I did nothing wrong. All the time I had to spend going to court, I was struggling to care for my Shayla. I lost my job and couldn't pay rent. And we got evicted. I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
And I ended up being in the hospital a lot during her trial. And in that hospital stay was when I had my stroke. I had a stroke about 4 or 5 days ago. And right now I'm doing pretty good. My hand is...
Imagine you go from having a home as a child, you go from having a home to being homeless. You got your parent on trial, you blaming yourself, you going home to a homeless shelter or motel when you do go home. And then on top of that, you have a stroke. And nobody during this entire process thinks to say, oh, snap, we messed up here. Let's stop this dead in its tracks. Like, I can maybe even understand them making the initial arrest. But once they found out the situation, the charges should have been immediately dropped. And I'm going to blame the judge too. Because at some point, you have to stand for something. You have to stand on business and be like, this is not right. We're not doing this. Kamala said she listened to Biggie and Pac in college. Those ninjas weren't even rapping yet. She just be lying, just like she said she washed them nasty greens in a bathtub. Just like, that's what I'm saying. She makes things up based on the stereotypes that she thinks of us, right? Like, she ain't never made a pot of greens in her life, probably. Ma'am, I know you ain't washing no greens in no nasty bathtub. But you did that because you said that because you think that's what we do.
It's doing okay, I guess.
In 2015, after 2 years, they finally just gave up and dismissed my case. In 2018, the Supreme Court of California ruled that truancy cannot be punished by incarceration. It was unconstitutional. The courts finally stopped Kamala Harris abuses.
Wow.
When I look back, I ask, why did Kamala Harris arrest me? Why was Kamala Harris so insensitive to a Black woman with a handicapped child? Well, first, I learned that Kamala Harris has no common experience with Black people. She grew up with an Indian mother. I remember she kept saying she was Indian.
To become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good. What we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes. And I learned she grew up in Canada, not in the United States, and went to a wealthy high school. I think in Canada, she must not have been exposed to American values, which respects the rights.
Howard was probably the blackest experience she ever had in her life. I'm telling you now.
Of individuals. When Kamala Harris ran for president in 2019, they asked her about arresting people like me, and she just lied her ass off.
The truancy program got a lot of criticism too. Did you actually lock anybody up?
No, we never locked anybody up. We never sent a parent to jail, and no parent went to jail. And we did prosecute some cases, but far few, only about 20.
It's ironic because Kamala helped raise money to bail out murderers, rioters, and thieves. But she thought I belonged in jail because I had a handicapped child. To me, Kamala is fake. She just repeats stupid things like unburdened.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I can tell. I'm not saying that this is not true, what this woman is saying. I'm saying I can tell that whoever produced this had a script ready for her. Y'all understand? Like, she's definitely reading off of something. It's not that what she is saying isn't true, but you know, there's definitely an agenda in what she's saying. But I mean, all of this stuff is verifiable. These are things that I've heard before this video. I'm just now hearing about her particular case, but these are well-known facts. But you know, they are kind of like dramatizing it, is what I'm trying to say.
The goals that socialists are trying to achieve.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
I found out she only became Attorney General because
I bet she has never had neck bones. No, she ain't had no neck bones. She don't even know what them look like. Hi, Suzanne Fuller. Welcome. If Nelly name is so what, Ashanti and Nelly are the only ones have to deal with it. I don't know what you're trying to say. No, she ain't never had no neck bones. She ain't never had no pot of chitlins. Okay, it's a lot of black people ain't never had no pot of chitlins. She ain't never had no pigtails and beans. That's that Louisiana stuff. She ain't eating like that. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. Them Indians can cook, so I know she grew up eating good. She just wasn't eating that stuff.
because she was a mistress to the married San Francisco mayor, Willie Brown. And today I see she tried.
Y'all see, hold on, we gotta run that back. You see how they came with the receipts? Hold on.
And be unburdened by what has been. You know?
I found out she only became Attorney General because she was a mistress to the married San Francisco mayor, Willie Brown.
Y'all, and I remember this video. So, okay, you know how everybody got mad at the white dudes who were on Fox talking about she got to where she got because she was given a hook twice. And a lot of people got upset. They were like, the only reason why they're talking about her like that is because they're trying to over-sexualize a black woman and say that she can't get to where she gets because of her accomplishments. And I'm like, ma'am, no, they talking about her. They're not talking about all black women, because nobody sits up and says that Nina Turner only got to where she got because of that hook twice. Okay. They're talking about this specific woman. And if she did, then she did. Okay, because what else could it be? We haven't seen her be competent in any other areas. This is what I was saying yesterday. Like, she had to have known somebody. She had to have had some favors done from her, because it doesn't give competent. It doesn't give she's knowing what she's doing. She eats naan bread, not cornbread. Exactly. And I ain't mad at it because that naan is good, but let's keep it a stack. I heard about that hookup. That's wild. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. People try to call those men racist when they were just speaking facts. Allegedly. Y'all know I got to say allegedly.
And today I see she tries appealing to black audiences by putting on fake urban accents.
And we're going to do it again in 2024.
Black people.
But it sounded like Aunt Jemima. Girl, stop.
People are very down to earth. This is insulting to us.
You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Kamala, how stupid do you?
I wonder how many times she practiced that in the mirror before she came out and did that.
Think we are. And I saw Kamala's Twitter photo. That's from like 20 years ago. She's 60 years old today.
Why is she doing her like this? She didn't have to eat her up like that. They didn't have to do her like that. To me, in my opinion, even though she's 60 years old, she's still a nice looking woman. Okay.
Even with the heavy makeup, you can see she's 60. I seen her pretending to be talking on the phone, avoiding the press. She's a terrible actress. She was calling young people stupid.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through?
I gotta catch my breath because they got this woman going in. Hold on, give me a minute. Let me read y'all comments. Hey, Jamal, good to see you here, brother. Y'all. What's up? Not Scamala. Oh, that's petty.
24. They are stupid.
With Kamala, we can't even say Merry Christmas.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
The laugh is so insincere.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And yeah, I am radical.
All this woke and radical stuff doesn't do anything for me as a single Black mother. All it got me was inflation that hurt me and my kids. Grocery store prices are crazy.
And what is she radical about? Like, what has she introduced in terms of policy that's going to radically transform our political system? I don't understand why she keeps saying that. Yes, I do. She's trying to co-opt the actual real left, or she's trying to co-opt the progressives, but Kamala has no interest in actually changing the system because she benefits from it. So I haven't seen her introduce anything that, like, she's not introducing the same type of measures that Bernie Sanders was when he ran for president, you know?
Easy. I can't pay for food on my income.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
Black people has been in America for 400 years, but Kamala pushes us to the back of the line behind illegals. Why? As borders are. She just filling up our schools with kids who don't speak English just so they can get more government money. Illegals get free health care, but I have to pay. They get free housing, and I'm struggling to pay rent.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit?
Oh, I didn't think about this. Now, disclaimer. When I was a teacher, I taught at a school that was, well, my first school I ever taught at was 97% Hispanic. And I loved my kids. Matter of fact, I'm going to keep it a stack. My kids that came over from like Nicaragua and Mexico, who didn't speak any English at all, they worked harder than my other Hispanic kids who had been here for a couple of generations. So, like, you know, those are my babies. So these are kids at the end of the day. These are innocent kids that are coming with their parents. And I personally had a pleasure teaching them, right? I didn't think about the fact that they might be allowing this for these kids to come over and fill up the schools because, you know, their parents have to go to work, so they need somewhere for the kids to go. So that didn't come across my mind as a possibility. And then, of course, you know, the more resources a school gets if they need help for kids who are English language learners. With that said, I really love those kids, and I couldn't imagine not having that experience, you know, so I don't know.
Wow. And it's more dangerous in our neighborhood. We don't need Venezuelan gangs.
To this day, at 22 years old, I suffer from full paralysis on my right arm and partial in my right leg.
Wow.
Kamala Harris owes me an apology and my daughter an apology for what she did to us.
Let's be clear. My values have not changed.
Look, I am not a political person, but I want people to know what Kamala Harris has did to me. If she do it to me, she will abuse anyone if you give her the power.
Scared. She seems real Tiffany-like.
Wow.
Kamala seems a little Mayor Tiffany-like.
Yeah.
I don't know Mayor Tiffany. Look.
Yeah, I worked under a woman who behaved like Kamala Harris. She was my first principal at the very first school that I worked at, where I taught the Hispanic kids. And she used to do stuff like not pay for the kids to have a yearbook. Like everybody knew something funny was going on with the money because she never put money into the school. And when we would ask to do stuff for the kids, it would never get approved. But she'd have all this extra and additional money to be going on all type of vacations and trips. So she was very narcissistic. If she only kept you around if she felt like you would be useful. But if you were actually a good and competent teacher that actually cared about the kids, she hated you, right? And that's crazy because you would think that a principal would love teachers who love to teach and do their jobs, but she felt like you were a competition and she didn't like anybody that spoke up for the kids. So I worked around narcissistic people like that enough to know when I see it. And that is why Kamala Harris cannot keep staff members, because she got to where she was at by playing the game her whole life, you know? And that's what suited her. It's not competency. It's not true and genuine compassion for people. It's not being able to relate to others and the struggles that they go through. It's her doing what she had to do to get to the top, using what she had to get what she wanted. And she's done that her entire career. Maybe not just with her body, but in terms of playing the game behind closed doors and doing people's dirty work. So in her mind, she feels like she's owed this presidency because she's probably done so much effed up stuff to where she feels like, okay, I'm owed this. This is what I did all this stuff for. Meanwhile, she is literally standing on top of the broken lives she left behind as prosecutor. Kamala claims she's giving hurricane victims $750 for relief, but she's not talking about how FEMA is refusing to let volunteers save people. I remember that. We talked about that last time. I've seen female bosses like that. Man, sometimes female bosses can be way worse than male bosses. Don't get me wrong. At their best, like at a woman's best, when she's not operating in competition, a female boss can be the best boss you ever had. The best boss I ever had was a woman. And it was because she was competent, but she also worked with empathy and compassion. She knew how to be firm, but not threatening. And she was a true team player. If something was lacking, she would fill in the gaps. It wasn't like, oh, I'm your boss, so I'm just going to hide away in my office and give y'all orders. And when things are going to hell, I'm nowhere to be found. No, she rolled up her sleeves and dug in there with us. So at a woman's best, you could have the best boss ever. But on average, a lot of the times they're way worse than the men. She got on because she smashed Willie Brown and locked up black men. Yeah. And you see, that ain't who she really wanted anyway, because that ain't who she ended up with. You know, she was just taking one for the team or taking one for herself at the time. Because I ain't even going to hold you. I wouldn't want to, lay up with Willie Brown either. I do kind of low-key feel like she was owed something because that man looked way older than her. The best female boss is better than the best male boss, in my opinion. Yeah, facts. I mean, when you get a good female boss, it's the best experience that life can give you. You enjoy going to work. You love it. You know that she got you, right? But when they're bad, they're bad. When they're bad, they leave emotional scars, okay? Like you be traumatized. My boss that was narcissistic like Kamala, baby, she had me reading the 48 Laws of Power. No lie. No lie. Because I had to try to figure out how to survive that school year. and get away from this woman without my license getting taken away, because at that time I was working under a probationary certification. So she was trying to tell all these lies that I was not doing what I was supposed to do in the classroom. So all of my lessons were done electronically. So I had to show her, ma'am, I have all of my lessons still on the internet. I can show you my kids' responses. Not only that, I had an outside evaluator for my certification agency who was coming and watching me. So the only thing that prevented her from all the way lying and prevented me from getting certified was that I had receipts on top of receipts on top of receipts, right? But I also had to learn how to play the game to get through the school year with that woman, you know. So at the end, she ended up having to sign off on my certification. But it took a lot of maneuvering and mental gymnastics and me learning how people like that operate and think. And by the end of it, I came to the conclusion that this woman is a monster and I just got to get the hell away from her. And that's what I did with a quickness. Yes, she's married. Let me pull up her husband. Okay, she's married to this man. His name is Douglas M. Hoff. Okay, so this is her man right here. You see him? Yeah, that's her man. She's married. Her husband kind of looked like he could be her daddy. They look alike just a little bit. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, Kamala said, baby, I got to go where the money is. Yeah, he caught a DV charge. Wow. Well, I don't know. Kamala, she don't look like the type that get beat on. Maybe she doing the beating. I'm just playing, y'all. But yeah, guys, that's really all I had to talk about today. I'm really tired, so I'm going to get off of here and take a nap. But again, thank y'all for everybody who showed up. Remember to hit the like button on the way out. I will see y'all again on Monday. All right. Bye-bye.